If you'd like to see more of our videos, hit the subscribe button to stay on top of the market news. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMtrading. Today is August 20th, 2020, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, the British pound retraces over 200 pips as it makes its correction from its highs. First, let's take a look at the economic events of the day. So once again, since we are in the summer months, there's no major economic events scheduled for today, but tomorrow we have a bunch of numbers coming out of Europe. But first, looking at the currencies, we're watching the British pound and the euro retrace versus the USD, bringing the Dow Jones also tapering off together with the NASDAQ and the JSE all selling off, failing to make those new highs, and that's quite important. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. Now, looking at the commodities, gold bounces as a response to the Dow and the indices selling off, while oil remains at the top of the range. Lastly, looking at the stocks, it was Amazon who made all-time new highs that retraced the most, drawing the markets lower. Okay, but first let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're looking here at the GBP USD at a 4-hour chart. You can see we hit this snag yesterday at 132.33, and this is a resistance level that we had up right here. We just traded above it and then made a full retracement. Now looking at where we are trading right now, 130.77, we did consolidate in this area quite before. Okay, so this consolidation is a point of somewhat support for the GBP USD. So I don't imagine that we'll be selling that much far off. We may just consolidate with this in this area until we find a new breakout area above this 131.40-ish level or below this 130.15-ish level, okay, on the two extremes. Now looking at the Euro USD, you could see that we've sold off as well. We're back almost to previous resistance, subsequent support, 118.11-ish level, and that would be maybe a decent place to pick this up in the anticipation it's going to take another run. Now looking at a daily chart, we had a really good run. This is one of the second times that we've sold off, so we may be coming to an end of this massive rally that we've had in the euro. Okay, so just keep that in the back of the plate just to make sure that you have this on the radar, because we may see it actually correct itself going into the beginning of September. Now looking at gold, okay, now we are perking up this today to 1949, up from 1926. And early in the week, we had a massive rally, about $75 from 1926-ish level up to 2000-ish level, and then retracing. Now we are bouncing once again. This does look like it's forming somewhat of a head and shoulder formation. Not sure if that's actually happening, but you want to keep this on the radar as well, okay? Because this is really in play. When the Dow Jones sells off and the indices sell off, obviously it's gold that goes up, and that might actually happen and wait further today. Now looking at the Dow Jones, we're looking at a daily chart. Let's look at a 4-hour chart, giving us a little bit better perspective here. And this is really something to consider, okay? We hit the snag at 28,000. That's a clear resistance-ish level, okay? We consolidated for a long time, for about, almost a week or week and a half, that we've consolidated between 27,900-ish level and 27,658. And we finally are breaking it this morning with some gusto, okay? Which I would imagine I would use it as a subsequent resistance-ish area if we do bounce this area to 27,658. What I do want to highlight here is that we are in lower volume, okay? This is really the summer, so I don't want to read into this too much, okay, as the markets makes this rotation. Now looking at the NASDAQ as well, we had that head and shoulder formation, okay, and that really forrated itself. And this was the shoulder, this was the subsequent shoulder, that's the head. We broke off from our previous high, okay, a nice little volume, and now we're right there. This is a support-ish area, so I'd like to see this actually sustain itself in anticipation. Maybe it'll go up higher, okay? Now, like I said before, the stocks are relatively still very strong. If we look at some of the major stocks, we'll see that they're still on or close to their highs, even though that this has taken a little bit of a back burner. Now looking at Apple, it's on its highs, 461 down from 465. Come on, that's on its highs, all right? So I'm not saying that this is a correctional move. And if we look at also Amazon, it's down only about 50 points, okay? And relatively for Amazon, that's nothing. Okay, for a $3,000 stock, that's probably the bid to ask price. Okay, so with that said, I'm not saying that we're going to be making a correction on the downside, but if we do break any one of these barriers, because we are coming close to it, you do want to be on the trigger. Now, again, we are in summer trading, and I don't want to read too much into it because the volume is lighter, okay? But as we go into the first week of September, you do want to know where we've been, especially since, you know, the volume is going to start picking up again. Now, if we look at some of the big board stocks like the JP Morgans, it did sell off from anything above $101, anywhere above $103. It's a clear sell. Okay, it hasn't really sustained itself. It's been choppy, okay, and has been consolidating within this area. But again, okay, it really does look like the markets are still not clear as to the direction they want to go. Now, we have two factors, and I've said this before. We have the elections coming up in November, and we're still somewhat navigating through this pandemic that the markets are being sustained. So with that said, I would still be a little bit shy to short these type of stocks or to short these type of indices because, you know, the markets are sustained. So with that said, okay, we're looking for a pivot move. Maybe look for the Forex symbols as they look to make somewhat of a bounce today. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.